Welcome back to Boruto Anime Review. This is episode number 39, and this one reviewing the 39th episode of the Boruto Naruto Next Generation anime series. Next Generations series. This is episode 39. The 39 of that series. Excuse me. And this episode is called Path Lit by the Full Moon. Yeah, this one is the heavily anticipated adaptation of the Mitsuge one shot, and when you see this video go up, it will have a picture of Mitsuge as the thumbnail for this particular one because this is all about Mitsuge. Yep, and from what I can tell, it's just a straightforward adaptation. There's really no change. The only change they did make is basically having a bookend of basically of the beginning where you see Mitsuge in present day, and he's meeting at that giant tower thing which was seen in the Boruto. I don't know what this thing is called, but this is the same place where Team Konohamaru, minus Konohamaru himself, basically meet up when they discuss stuff. So yeah, there's that. And of course Boruto is late, so yeah, Sadara is getting really ticked off that he's late. Yeah, her mother did the same thing whenever Naruto was late. Not much with Naruto. It was more like when Kakashi was late. Yeah, Naruto generally arrived on time, and of course later on when they showed the bookend of it, Naruto says the reason why he was late because he helped the boy find his mom, which praise him for doing that. Yeah, and that's the reason why he took so long. Yeah, of course Mitsuke hasn't told Bart. I get maybe at this point not telling that he's his father Orochimaru, but as far as even the manga, that he doesn't tell the reason why he's in the village because he leaves Boruto as his son to his moon, because he's kind of like a moon. Because apparently Orochimaru thinks that his son and Naruto's son are basically the next generation of reincarnation of the sons, the Sage of Six Paths. That's what he believes. Yep. Mostly put, it's just straightforward. It's like Mitsuke wakes up, sees Orochimaru. You see Sadiki. You only see him for like a couple of scenes in this whole episode, and this is the first time you see him in the series for the first time since the Sadara arc, which he appeared for a couple episodes of that. Yeah, he's a guy who worked with Sasuke in Naruto Shippuden, and also basically during part 2 of the manga. Yeah, he's from the Hidden Mist Village. Of course, Mitsuke when he's walking to meet up with Orochimaru. Now, there's one character in this episode that they don't say who it is. I don't think it's Kabuto because I don't think Kabuto wants anything much to do with Orochimaru anymore. As for who Orochimaru is meeting with, I don't have any idea who this person is. It could be Kira, which is the current modern day, which is current this generation's version of the Akatsuki. Excuse me, it could be them. I don't know. They don't reveal that in this episode at all. Maybe they reveal that in the Boruto manga. Who knows? Which I'll talk about the manga soon. Okay, so apparently he's forgot his memories, and apparently Orochimaru's lab is very high tech. I mean, a lot more high tech than it was during Naruto. Basically, because his laboratory is so advanced. It's more advanced than it was during the original series because also they do show a flashback of him in his the outfit he wore frequently throughout part 1 and part 2. The whole plain little thing, especially with the whole purple rope tie-up thing, which is a common thing that anybody from the Sound Village would wear. Yep. And technically put, this lab is the Sound Village, despite the fact that there is nobody in the Sound Village. The Sound Village doesn't officially exist. Well, according to what I've heard, they do exist, but they are very small, and they don't have one of the leaders, per se. Not like they don't have a Kage. The leader of the village is obviously Orochimaru because he created the village. This was revealed during the tuning exams. So he wakes up, gets out, and he does the whole stretch arms thing, which I've heard that's something to deal with chakra, and also because he's an artificial being, so there's that. Then of course the memories thing goes out, bites the guy briefly, go hell up paralysis jutsu, and then when he takes out the guy's mask, I mean, is it just me, or did Orochimaru base his two sons because they feel that the other guy, Log, is also Orochimaru, so basically he's his first son? I mean, look at him. Is it just me, or did he base this guy's face on the second Hokage? I'm not kidding. Heck, the hair is very similar style. You know it's a different color, it's blue. It's a very light blue, like the Mitsuke's hair is. Mitsuke mean basically his name means sixth vessel. That's basically what the name means. He also get the meaning of that, and of course, you also get a chance to see him wear an outfit in this episode that was shown that Orochimaru wore in the past. It was kind of like a Jonin outfit that they wore during the second and third Great Ninja War. Mm-hmm. So there's that. Uh, as for Orochimaru appearing in this episode, I don't think anybody's surprised by it because Orochimaru was in the Misuke one shot, just like how when he appeared during the Sadara, when he appeared for one episode of that, no one's surprised by that either because he appeared in that as well. Outside of basically appearing in that, he also appeared between that and this episode. He appeared in one standalone episode where I think it was just a few episodes back. I think it was just before the graduation happened, where he's actually inside the Hokage Alps, which something that could never happen in the original series. I mean, Orochimaru, and I mean he actually has been seen the village outside of his attempted destruction of the city, the village, when he appeared during the whole period of time leading up to Naruto Hinata's wedding. He was roaming around the village, and Kat the Yamamoto basically was keeping an eye on him. Then I'm like, how come the villagers are saying, hey, what is this guy doing here? Isn't he the same guy who killed the third Hokage? I'm sure like everyone in the whole village hates him for doing that, but they clearly said something. But here, it's fine. And apparently his room looks like a bunch of snakes because Orochimaru is obsessed with snakes. But all in all, great adaptation, though. I do point out, though, I gotta point this out, the fight scene that they've seen here briefly between Orochimaru and Log, it seems like the animation is a bit sloppy. Yeah, it's a bit sloppy in places. Yeah, it just looks kind of bad. Like, the way that the swords are swinging and the battle sequences. It's kind of like that the battle they had between Sakura and the leader of the and the main antagonist. I think his name is he's one of the Chias, Shin Uchiha. Yeah, that fight was a lot more better handled than this thing. This looks like crap. It's like they didn't have much of a budget to do an actual fight in an episode. So the fight itself looks okay, but in places it looks really bad. I mean, I'm not kidding, but the rest of the animation episode is fine. It's perfectly up to standard basically with what Boruto has been doing at this point. And, of course, the episode ends with Misuke saying that he trusts both of them basically for what they're doing. And that's how the episode ends. Of course, next week is basically the first mission of Team 7. And, of course, Naruto's going to show up in the episode, which is nice. He's going to show up. Excuse me. Let's see. Yeah, it's just going to be a first mission. I don't know what it is. It's just some kind of low-rank mission they're going to do. I kind of suspect this would happen because, well, they get just graduate, and they got to go through a certain number of missions before they get qualified to do the tuning exams. So there's that. But there's one other thing I want to talk about this episode. The newest chapter of the Boruto manga. Chapter 19 came out last week, so I'm wondering my thoughts on it. This chapter is called Puppets. Basically, because their mission they were on at this point got suspended, they had to go look for Konohamaru. So they leave the thing, and they're outside the lab. There wasn't gonna be. I thought it was gonna be like a little scene, like saying, "Hey, where's the mission suspended?" like that. I guess they'll probably try to skip over that, but maybe when the anime gets it, they might basically add it in. Who knows? Of course, Sadara has a little conversation with Sasumi, and Sasumi reveals she's interested in Boruto. Okay. Is this going to hint at possible romance in the future? Maybe. But some people probably think that Sadara has a thing for Boruto, even though that she probably doesn't. That's just my personal guess anyways. So instead of taking Sasumi like I thought they would, they take the leaf scientist they actually brought with them from the village to this place to go look for Konohamaru. And he comes in his big fancy battle armor, because why not? So they go to find him. They go to the place which is near the land of fire border to check out this blimp, and he does check out the scientist checks out what's inside the blimp, and then like something happens, and then all of a sudden Team Konohamaru and the scientists are fighting robots. I'm not kidding. They spend most of the chapter fighting robots. Though these are ninja tech. Basically, it's Boruto, Mitsuke, and Sadara, and this leaf scientist fighting robots. I'm like, wow, that's interesting. And then Konohamaru shows up. He's alive and well. Some people suspect he might be dead, but nope, he's alive and well. and of course he's in a cave. Everybody's happy to see him, and then the chapter ends with Ao, four bodyguards defend Masakage, and somehow he has a freaking Gatling gun come complete. I'm like, where the heck did he get this thing from? And he appears and looks like the chapter ends, so he's about to fire the thing at Team Konohamaru and this Hidden Leaf scientist. I mean, wow, what an awesome chapter. I know that's briefly summarizing what happened, but this was a really good chapter. Though, I gotta admit, basically, this thing should be weekly because I checked the release. They said the release date next one is going to be the 22nd of January when the next chapter is released. So it'll be a whole month for the follow-up to this. Like, we have this awesome cliffhanger, and we have to wait for a month for the next chapter. I'm like, wow, seriously. I kind of wish this was weekly. I kind of wish that, but who knows. Otherwise, though, that's it for this episode. Stay tuned for next week's episode, episode 40. I thought, excuse me, from what I've heard from the schedule, that there's not going to be an episode next week. But apparently, there's going to be one next week. That's when the next episode is going to be. So stay tuned for episode 40. So I'll see you all next week. Bye. Though I have another video come out.